My final edit of Little Widow. I'm in the assembly edit layout up here, which has my project window on the left, my sequence below, and both the program and source window are nested together here in the upper right. Let's start in the project window here. Of course, I have my audio down below for the trailer. I've added a number of markers throughout on hits, percussive elements, areas where it goes quiet, etc. I've also added some color-coded markers for different characters as well for dialogue. And that track is locked here. Additional audio tracks are muted below. That way, if any audio comes in with video clips as you drop them in, they're simply muted. And of course, you can always add tracks by right-clicking and adding tracks. You can rename by, you'll want to hover your mouse in between two layers here, and then you can right-click and rename a video track as needed. Okay, back up to the project window. We see our audio score here. We also see the entire movie is here. I've renamed it just so it's clear that this is my original clip. I have this. This is the name of the sequence. You notice it matches this right here. Widow sequence is the name of my particular project. And then I've got a number of bins. You create these by right-clicking and creating new bins. I've made one for each of the actors that I hear in the audio, as well as a bin for just action. You'll also hear this referred to as B-roll, but it's just action. Let's take a look inside of some of these bins. Each bin, this is Yelena Belova's bin. It's played by this character here, this seagull, and whose name is Scuttle. And so here we have different dialogue bits from Scuttle. If I were to open one up, you'll see they're fairly short. And he's the only character whose mouth is moving in each of these little shots. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at some others. Here's Natasha, played by Ariel. Same idea here. I could scrub through these. Also, you can view them as either a list right down here or as icon view, and you can adjust your icon size up here as well. And you can hover scrub through these. If you'll double click them, they'll open up in the program window. Source window, of course, shows you whatever is, wherever your playhead is down here in the sequence. And I said that backwards, didn't I? Program window. I did, I'm sorry. Source window shows you whatever is double clicked. Program window shows you your playhead in the timeline. Okay, so coming back to our project window, we've got Alexei as well and some of his dialogue. This character goes through a transformation. This is Ursula, who's in disguise for part of the film, and Dracov's character as well. His are all actions. I don't have any dialogue from him in the original trailer. And let's go ahead and take a look at the action. I'd like you to notice there's quite a few clips in here. In each particular one, we don't have the mouths moving. So here's a shot. This is action shot 14. You know, it's a bird's eye view spinning. There's no dialogue, okay? Let's go ahead and take a look at some others. You know, here's, you know, this crab hits, you know, hits the ground, etc. Okay. One thing you'll notice in the these clips as well is I've added markers. In this particular case, it's a marker for where this object hits the ground. That's going to be useful later as I tie it up to an audio score to get it to so that the hitting the ground matches a sound cue. Okay, and I just want to point out again how many there are. I tell students to usually look for about 50 actions or so. Every project's a little different. but you really want a lot of actions. If you come down and take a look at my action B-roll, I've got quite a few clips that I've used in my project. Okay, let's take a look at the sequence now. I'm going to zoom in a little. I'm using the plus and minus buttons, are an easy way to zoom in and out. Of course, you can also click and drag this icon here, and the backslash right below the delete button is a nice way to bring the entire sequence in at once. Okay, and I'm going to hit tilde on the top left of my keyboard. It's a little squiggle under escape, and that'll make whatever window I have selected go full screen. It's selected when it's been highlighted in blue. Okay, so here again we've got action on this roll. I started by editing dialogue for this movie. So I started out with Yelena Belova. I started at the beginning. I found her dialogue. I had made my markers in red, and I went through and added Scuttle dialogue to match. Notice they're short. Yeah, that's the biggest thing I'd say, is keep them short. It's okay to even cut. If it's a long piece of dialogue, it's okay to start with some dialogue of lip sync and then cut away to some action. It's hard. We're trying to fake this, right? We're trying to make the lip sync look like it matches the original film. And the longer the clip is, the harder it is to be convincing. So I'm going to go ahead and play this for a minute, and we'll check it out, see how we did here.
Natasha, my sister, after all this time, what brings you home?
Okay, so we cut away after she gives her first line on this hit here. We cut to dialogue, and actually she references time, and so I've chose a clip that has a reference to time in it. All right, let's continue here.
What brings you home? I'm on the run.
Okay, so here we have her bit of dialogue, I'm on the run, and then we have a hit here. So you'll notice right here, at this moment in time, Squirtle gives the crab a whack on the table here. I've made a mark by hitting the letter M twice, so MM. It brings up my marker dialog box here. I'm going to call this an action. I'm going to give it a white marker. I could use another color. I've chosen white for mine. And I'll hit OK. And there it is, a white marker. I've already created my marker here because I knew there was a hit. And when I drop this in, I simply have to align, these two markers so they line up. Okay? Let's continue.
I was trying to do something good. You more than just a trained killer. You're fooling yourself.
Okay, here we have a number of hits, and I've chosen to use one shot because in this particular shot there are some lighting cues, and I felt they worked well enough to time to that. We do a fade to black as the music dips down. Here I actually have a jump cut. I've taken one shot and sliced a little bit of time out of it just to help the mouth line up a little better.
We're still both trained killers.
You don't even notice it. It's right here. There's a little bit of a movement, and it's just sort of concealed by the action anyways.
Trained killers.
Once again, there's a lot of percussive hits right here in the sound, but I matched them up with one shot or two shots here that simply had a lot of lighting changes.
We have unfinished business.
Okay, here's a blink edit. This can actually incidentally be done. There is an effect that does this as well, but I simply went through and made some cuts. If you look carefully, they're not even timed exactly to the audio beats. They're just real fast, just as the music is real fast here. There's the timing marker from, let's see, this object hitting the ground. Okay, here there's a sound effect right as her body enters the water again. Okay, here there was a sort of a grunting sound which matched the action. Okay, here the music dies down and also it gets dark, so I chose an idea that visually matched what I heard.
Still fits.
Okay. Here the gag, of course, is still fits during Ursula's transformation into this other costume.
Family. Back together again.
You got fat.
Smelling waterway.
Oh, and here my computer slowed down. One moment.
You got fat.
Smelling waterway.
Okay, there's another blink edit here, and then this is probably the most famous shot from this particular movie, which I wanted to time out to the music score as well.
There's a new world of.
So as she slides up on the rock here, the surf, the ocean hits behind her, time to the music.
There's a new world of widows.
Okay, so here, New World of Widows, and I was able to find a piece of footage that included a lot of mermaids, so I'm matching the dialogue to something I see on screen conceptually.
New enemies. I'm done running from my past.
Okay, here, lots of quick little edits, time to action. So she says, I'm done running from my past, and then we see lots of jabs from Ursula with Poseidon's trident. Okay, these little eels slide out as the music makes a sound. Okay, again, there's a lot of visual stuff happening in this particular shot, and the music's crescendoing. It's getting louder, swelling, and having percussive hits, and so that was an easy way to time these together without doing rapid edits of multiple shots. Notice this is one fairly long shot here. And, you know, the truth is you get sort of lucky on some of these things, the timing of these explosions compared to the music. Here the music is swelling, it's getting raising in pitch, and I happen to find a shot of this character growing, and so that's sort of conceptually matched again. Okay, again, lots of percussive hits here in the score, and I'm matching them very specifically to hits that are happening in the action. So as the tentacle comes in, it lands right there as we get, or the splash rather, right as we get a hit, and then same for the wave. And I just want to say this takes some nudging. When you're dropping these things in and you're taking a clip in, it does take some maneuvering and, you know, a little bit of fiddling to get it in just sort of the right place. Okay, and that's, you know, part of the process, the experimentation process. There are some tools of note. Let's talk about one of them. Let's do the rate stretch tool. So let's say I drop this clip in, and that's as far as it goes. That's all that's useful to me because it cuts away to Ariel or something else. And I know I need to fit this little time. The rate stretch tool can be a great tool. You'll find it here under the ripple edit, press and hold. Here's my rate stretch tool. Simply hover your mouse on the edge of a clip, click and drag, and in this case it's going to slow it down. It's adding 6 frames to make this a 1-second clip. This clip is now playing at 75%, slightly slower, but it helped fill in that void there. Okay, so that's a real handy tool, is the rate stretch tool. When you're done using it, be sure to click back onto the selection tool. All right, moving forward here, we have a cross dissolve. The music crescendos down. This is going to, cross dissolve is going to do, also called a dip to black, you can find in your effects, and in this case it'll fade down to black. We come to some more dialogue, some action hits here for who is this guy, and we finally see Triton.
Who the hell is that guy?
All right, so there you go. that is a quick overview of my edit of Little Widow.